Well, it certainly seems like you're kind of settling into life as a Flame. Maybe just kind of take me through what the last few days have been like.
Yeah, a lot of traveling, a lot of playing hockey, and so that's been fun. Played against Edmonton, which I thought went well, and then got in the third period against Vancouver, which I thought went well, but some things to continue to work on and build on. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a blast playing, and a little bit tired now, but I'll be going maybe take a nap or something and get going again tomorrow.
What's are you looking to kind of remake your game here? Or are you trying to like how do you go about this? You've only played 6 NHL games, but like how are you kind of approaching the position and your mechanics and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I've been on board or on like the same page as the goalie department here, and I've been kind of like this offseason I had a bunch of notes of stuff that I was like working on, and they kind of feel the same way. And I thought I made a lot of progress in the offseason, and I've made a lot of improvements in my game. And now it's about kind of just like refining the details. But I mean, honestly, right now, like it's been a little bit more hands off because it's like, okay, you got to go out there, you got to compete, you got to like just play. And as soon as like people start telling me too many things, then it's like, oh no. And it's like, yeah, then you just like, you don't even track the puck, because it's like, if they're coming down and you're like, okay, well, Barb said this about my stance, and then Skapsy said this about, this, and then it's like all of a sudden the puck's in the back of the net because you're not even watching, so it's like a little thing here or there, but it's nothing, not like too much to handle,
Well, I assume that's part of the training camp is building that muscle memory up with some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like I thought like my first 2 days were like an absolute disaster. I thought it was so bad, and then it was like, okay, settle down a little bit, and then like you just hear like, okay, well maybe instead of like sitting back and like being like afraid of the puck, not afraid, but like like on your heels, like be bigger and like be more out at the puck. And now it's like, okay, now everything's just hitting me. Now it feels super easy compared to like the first days. I was like, I don't even know how to play goalie anymore. I felt like I was so lost. And now it's like, now it feels a lot better. And now it's just continuing to build off that. And now the games are feeling comfortable too. Like I'm feeling a lot more confident, and pucks are hitting me. I feel a lot more calm. But there's like a fine line too, because it's like, okay, sometimes when I play calm and I'm like, okay, I got to settle down, then it's like I go slow, and it's like I'm going to my spots late. I'm being too lazy, and it's like, no, like you still got to go fast. Like it's the NHL, like the puck moves quick, but it's like just be a little bit more relaxed as you do it,
What'd you learn from your first few NHL games there last season in San Jose?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you're in the minors, like you can kind of get away with stuff. And then when you get to the NHL, like it's like, oh my God, there's so many issues with my game I didn't even know that I had. And so that's why it's so nice, like being in the NHL, because it's like you get exposed like right away. Like if you have any flaw in your game, like you're gonna get exposed on it. And so I got exposed a lot in my first couple of games with San Jose, which wasn't ideal. But the biggest thing was like sitting back. So like when they shoot it, it's like I'm like really low, and it's like I'm opening up all these holes in my arms, and like I'm getting beat up over the shoulders, which like at 6'4", 6'5", like that shouldn't happen, And so this whole offseason, it's really just been like butterflying and being really big and tall, like having my butt up, sealing the holes underneath, like keeping my hands out in front of me, like good box control and just tracking. And that's been like a huge game changer for me. And it's like just letting pucks like come to me and like using my body for them to hit me instead of feeling I got to get like so low and track everything, because it's so hard to track. Like it comes so fast sometimes. And so, yeah, like just having pucks hit me a lot more, and it's just made the game a lot easier for me.
Would you describe your goaltending style or approach as more of a feel or a flow game, and you're trying to add more technical elements to it? Or how?
Yeah, 100%. Like I didn't have goalie coaching, like really any consistent goalie coaching, until I went to the USHL at 18, 19 years old. And so like I feel like my entire career I've been trying to like play catch up. And so like I had this like always like this raw athletic, ability, and I was like mobile, and I was quick, and I was tall, and so like I had like all the tools, but I honestly had no idea what I was doing like for the longest time. Like in the USHL, I finished like last in save percentage and goals against average, so that like wasn't good at all. But like I had all the tools, I just had no, like if you would have asked me like, hey, in this situation, what do you do here? I'd be like, I don't know, I just figure it out. And so like that doesn't work at the higher levels, and so now it's about, okay, taking this raw talent and like structuring it, and now being a lot more technical with things, and now I'm feeling a lot more confident where it's like if there's a certain situation, I feel like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do here. And now it's just continue to build off that muscle memory and get better and better.
How tough was it to sort of take those lessons that you're learning and apply them in game situations? Because you don't have a lot of games played over the course of the last
Dude,
6
yeah. San Jose was really tough for that because I was working with Thomas Fear, and he was like amazing, like such a good coach, and I loved everything that he was saying, and I was like, yes, like this is it. I got to do this. I got to do this. So my mind knew exactly what I needed to do, but my body like wasn't listening to me. So I'd be like, okay, do this, and then I get in a game situation. It's like you get the adrenaline going, and it's like I revert right back to like my old habits, and it'd be like a disaster. And now I'm really fortunate that, you know, I was in San Jose for like a quarter of the season, last quarter, and so like after my first few games, like I was like, okay, now I'm starting to feel confident. I was doing a ton of reps in practice, staying out late and just trying to get it down. And that's now it started to feel better and better, but it still like wasn't 100% there because it's like I felt really good against St. Louis and Seattle, and then I got lit up in Edmonton, and it's like I reverted right back to my old habits because that muscle memory wasn't there. And so this off season, it's all just been about slowing everything down and just getting the muscle memory down, doing a million reps. And now it's like, now I'm here, and now I feel like during a game, I'm not thinking about it anymore. Now I'm feeling like a lot more confident in like that style of play. But there's still obviously things I'm working on.
Definitely. Like we see your quotes, and you, like, what's the balance between this is a real opportunity but not taking it too seriously? Like what's how do you walk that, or how do you approach things?
Yeah, honestly, like I found over the years that the more serious I took things, like the worse I would do. Because I would start to put like extra pressure on myself, and I'd be like, oh, I just want to succeed so bad, and I'm like so tense, like I'm trying so hard, and then like if a one goes in or a bad one goes in, I'm fucking like head's going up, I'm like pissed, you know, because I'm like so like I want to succeed so bad. But I think as a goalie, like sometimes like the opposite is like better. Like if you go out and you're like, oh, you know, whatever happens, happens. Like obviously that's not the case, but it's like I said that quote all the time, like last year, where it's like nothing matters, nobody cares, nothing matters, nobody cares. I just say that to myself all the time. So it's like if you make a mistake, you know, it's not the end of the world, and you can go out there and be more relaxed and not so afraid to fail. And I think that's the biggest thing, because for the first part of my career, I was so afraid to fail every single game. I was like so stressed out before games. I was anxious. I was like just like so tense, and I'd get super low and like crouch down, and I was just getting beat, and I'd get frustrated. Like if you see my body language, like my first few years pro, it's like every goal I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and now it's like, dude, who cares, you know, just keep going. And like now it's like I'm having so much fun. It's like I'm laughing after making saves, like in the middle of the game, like I'm like cracking jokes, and it's like it's been a lot of fun for me, and it's taken a lot of stress off, and I think it's helping my game a lot too.
How different is your mentality this year than say a year ago this time when you were buried in Buffalo's system?
Yeah, so much different. And I think a lot of that is like just like, you know, I've made it to the NHL, you know, and so it's like that dream is like accomplished, and it takes a huge weight off your shoulders. And now it's like, you know, like you have goals, right? And so like for the longest time, your goal is like, okay, well, I want to make the AAA team in youth, you know, I want to go play juniors, I want to play college, and you get up, and it's like the ultimate goal is the NHL. And then now you get to the NHL, and now it's like, okay, well, what's your goal? Now it's like, now my goal is like, I want to be the best goalie like I can possibly be, like humanly possible, like with my body. And so now it's like a lot more fun because it takes the pressure off, and it's like, okay, like let's see how far I can go, you know, let's see like what I'm capable of. And so that's what I'm really excited for, and that's kind of been my mentality coming here and just competing and just being like, okay, let's you know, go time.
Was there a coach? Go ahead.
I was asking totally off topic, so I shouldn't have interrupted there. But I asked Dan Vladar about Martin Fark's shot, and I was like, do you actually notice as a goalie how much harder his shot is?
Gosh, it's the hardest shot I've ever played against in my life. It's crazy. And I thought I was going crazy because when I first came here, he was just like ripping it. I was like, dude, who is this guy? I was like, I was like, and so one time I talked to him after, I was like, dude, I think you have the hardest shot I've ever played against. And I was like, I was hoping like, you know, it was going to be like, he's like, yeah, I do have a really hard shot, so it didn't make me feel so bad. But he goes, oh yeah, like AHL All-Star game, 109 miles an hour, you know, faster than Char. I was like, okay, thank God. That makes me feel a lot better because I thought I was going crazy. But yeah, it's so hard, and it's accurate too. Like he can place it like that guy. He's got a cannon.
Have you guys want him going all out in practice?
Oh, for 100%, yeah, absolutely. That's part of the job. Yeah, yeah. So it's like guys always like, if they hit you in the head in practice, like, oh, sorry. It's like, dude, that's a job. Like, you're a goalie. Like, it's like, I'm glad I made this save, you know? It's like, that's going to happen in games. It's like, I'd rather you hit me in the head than you score a goal, you know?
Just last one, like that nothing matters as nobody cares mentality. Like, was there a coach or person that kind of helped you sort of adopt that approach? Or?
No, I honestly started saying that because my first few games, my first 2 games in San Jose, kind of going back, like I was like so tense. I wanted to succeed so bad because it's the NHL debut, and then I made my home debut in front of all my family and friends because that's where I'm from. And I just like, the first couple of periods would go great, and then it would get to the third, and we'd have a lead, and I'd be like, oh no, I got to make a save. I'm like shaking. I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that. And all of a sudden, boom, goal, goal, goal. Like they scored like 6 goals in 2 periods, like in the 2/3 in those 2 games, and like we lost the lead every time. And I'm like just like so mad, like spiraled after the games, like getting so pissed off at myself. And then like next time I'm like, dude, it's just like that pressure isn't helping me. You know, it's making me worse. It's stressing me out more. It's making the game not as fun. I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, come on, like count down. And then I totally switched it to against St. Louis. I was like, you know what, like, who cares? You know, it's like, end of the day, like I'm going to be like 45 years old, you know, and it's like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to have a family, you know, I'm going to be like just totally chilling in my life. And I'm not going to like wake up in a sweat and be like, oh my God, remember that one game where you let in that goal in the 3rd period? It's like, dude, nobody cares. No one's going to remember, you know, like maybe some people will, but like most people aren't going to remember. So it's like, just go out there, play for yourself, like play for the team in front of you, and like just focus like one shot at a time, and like don't put so much pressure on yourself. And so I just started saying that over and over again, and it just like, as the clock was like ticking down, I like was be like, oh man, like I don't want it to tick down, you know? It's like I wish we had 2 more periods. Like I'm having so much fun out here, just like really enjoying the moment and staying in the present moment, and that's been a game changer for me, honestly. It's been like so good for my mental health, it's been so good for my confidence, and it's like I'm having so much fun playing again, and it's been awesome.